that, you know, even allowing a stray, I mean, an animal to stray into the road is an offense. It's a criminal offense. So, and then we found ourselves in Nigeria that even if you hit an animal, you know, you have to perform some ritual. While actually, in the real sense, even the owner of the animal is a criminal for allowing the animal to stray into the road. So you can see, you know, so many things that are there in the law that people are not even aware of. So the problem of Nigeria is not law. Unfortunately, we are making so many laws, and then we are implementing so little. And in that area of implementation, we give kudos to Governor Caleb Manasseh Mutfang for doing well in implementing a lot of laws and actually changing the face of Plateau State. He has done significantly well in that area. He has proven that yes, indeed, he is a lawyer. And then also I also commend the Attorney General of Plateau State. He is doing significantly well and wonderfully well in terms of implementing some of these laws that has been abandoned. Here in this platform, it's not all about criticism. When people are doing well, we have to spur them to do more. So in the area of implementation of law and reviving some of these laws, honestly, the Chief Judge, the Governor has done very well. And then also the CJ of Plateau State also, Honorable Justice Mann, is doing wonderfully well also in cooperating with the executive arm of government in implementing some of these laws. I am telling you, we have seen a situation where a car is just passing, then maybe there is another car ahead of him carrying concrete. Then one of the concrete particles will just splash on the car, and then before you know, he had a broken windshield. And the next thing the person will be telling you, he will be, you know, we are a very religious people. The next thing, he will bring God into it and begin to plead that don't Allah, or in the name of God, or in the name of whatever, you should allow me, you know. These are some of the recklessness that you see every day in the society. People being reckless, people being careless, you know, and then the society become as if the society become lawless. So I think this is a wonderful development. We are calling upon the government. We are lending our voice and supporting them, that they should implement those laws so that Plateau State will be wonderful. I remember a professor from the University of Jos was stating his experience in Ghana, that he was eating a banana in a fellow professor's car who hosted him in Ghana. As they were driving, he threw the peel of the banana across the window, and then he never knew that there was a power bike, the security power bike that was coming from behind. And then they overtook them and stopped them. When they stopped them, they asked them, you threw a peel of banana, it's an offense in Ghana. So the professor from Nigeria said, sorry, I'm a stranger here, I'm from Nigeria. And the policeman said, look, this is not Nigeria, this is Ghana. So you can see how unfortunate it is. Nigeria is known for being lawless. Nigeria is known for being... And unfortunately, if you see Nigerians going to other climes, you see them behaving themselves. There are Nigerians in UK that are behaving themselves. There are Nigerians in US that are behaving themselves. You see Nigeria in Dubai, they are behaving themselves. Why is it that when we come to Nigeria, we keep on misbehaving? We turn our country as if it... And without law, I'm telling you, there will be rancor and chaos. So we are encouraging the government of the state to make sure that they implement that long existing law.
And that will just mean to spend more on the common man. If you have anything to do with transporting sand, then it has to come on you, because the driver, the car owner actually would have
the damage, apart from destroying other people's vehicle, it can splash some sandy particles into someone's eye and destroy the person's eye. What if it destroys somebody's eyes? You can also pollute the environment. So you can see, you know, I got to discover when I was going through the road safety law, I discovered that even emitting smoke is an offense. Smoke emission. But you know, you see most of these trucks emitting heavy smoke into because it pollutes the society. So you know, there are so many laws. So I am not one of those people that are propagating that you know, mounting pressure on House of Representative members to be signing bills and laws and whatever. That's not it. The little we have, let's implement it first, and then before we begin to talk about making other laws. If you go to many of our law firms, you will see a lot of laws. You know that some of them you don't even have a space to keep them, and then we are not even implementing them, and yet we are still enacting and alterating and whatever, all sort of nomenclature. given to such things. So I think if we want to be serious in this country, the focus to be more in terms of implementation and
so we have
practical implementation. For instance, the celebrated Freedom of Information bill that was celebrated, you know, it has been implemented in abeyance. Nobody is obeying the freedom up till now. If you go, even for research purpose, go to some government parastatal and request for certain information, they will not release it to you. So even for the purpose of maybe tendering certain document in court as evidence to maybe establish your case, if you go to certain government agency, they will not release certain information to you. So the freedom of information, the so-called celebrated freedom of information law, it has become it's just practice in abeyance. So you can see some of these things. So we are calling upon, if we want to really be serious in the country, we should really, like for instance, if you look at the Constitution, they will tell you Nigerians have freedom to right to free education, right to health, right to, you know, and you know they tell you the primary responsibility of the government in the Constitution. Now the next argument is that such sections are not justiciable. What makes them not justiciable? You know, it is governmental irresponsibility and rascality that makes such provisions to be irresponsible. And then when we are talking about this, we are not only talking about one regime, we are talking about chains of successive regime, particularly in the Fourth Republic.
All right, let's go to see what we have on the Punch. Crude for loans. NNPCL votes 8 million barrels monthly for $8.8 billion debt reports. Okay, Tinubu plans to bar customs, NPA orders from revenue collections. Fubara insists on local government poll amid protest by Wike allies. Okay, and this one says Iran summons envoys as Israel intensifies Beirut bombing. Another one here says court bars VIO from impounding vehicles. There's another one, and I'm sure Barrister would love to say a thing there. Harris Trump locked in tight White House race. Well, this and lots more. Of course, we have already begun, so let's see what we say. I know my listener would love to hear your input concerning VIO. You know, there has been a lot of do I say cross-carpeting in terms of who is to do it and who is to do it?
The problem about the issue of both VIO and road safety is that they keep on having conflicting court decision. Today the court will say they don't have right to impound vehicle. Tomorrow the court will say no, they have right. And so with this conflicting this court decision has made implementation very difficult. And then be that as it may, when you are talking about stare decisis and other judicial method of interpretation, you will realize that normally the decision of the Supreme Court is usually more accepted than that of other court. Is binding on other court. So we will be expecting what the Supreme Court, the kind of pronouncement the Supreme Court we make with respect of this particular decision. And by the time the Supreme Court come up with its own pronouncement in that area, I think it will bring this issue to rest. But be that as it may, when we come about this issue, a friend of mine who happens to stay in Dubai, he say in Dubai your account number is connected. You know, that is a way how government link your account number to your data. So, but I think we have been trying such process in Nigeria, but to no avail. So you say once you commit a traffic offense, nobody will arrest you. Your account, you will just receive an alert that this offense you corrected. Wrong overtaking, you will just receive an alert for wrong overtaking. If it is 2,000 Riyal, for instance,
yes,
they will just deduct it from your account directly. So by the time your account is suffering, you will enter your senses. So, you know, wrong overtaking, wrong parking, the place is so organized, but we have not gotten there yet. So at times it is quite unfortunate. Recently, a professor was telling me that the road safety, the VIO arrested him, and then he knew that his fire extinguisher, he bought a new fire extinguisher. Unfortunately, he was not aware that he couldn't remember where he kept the fire extinguisher. Upon arrival to because he showed them the old one, they said this one has expired, and he had all his particulars. But upon arrival at the office of the VIO, he just checked one corner of the car, and then he found the new fire extinguisher. And he told them, behold, this is my fire extinguisher. I told you that I have a new fire extinguisher, only that I don't know where I kept it, but I have every other document apart from fire extinguisher. They say, already, we have already booked you, so you have to pay for the booking. This is victimization, and then they need a reorientation to avoid victimizing citizens of Nigeria. And then government should come up with better way of implementing traffic rules. I will not say that some of the things that the road safety and the VIO are doing is not good, because if you see the kind of recklessness on our road, if you see the way our people do things on Nigeria road, honestly, you will say that we will even need more of agencies that will be regulating some of these excesses. But be that as it may, we should also look at areas of implementation, and then look at areas of awareness creation. Like, for instance, a friend of mine, Abuja, he happened to be a lawyer. Some road safety asked him for all the documents they needed. He presented all the documents that they needed. Everything they needed, he provided. They checked his tires were not expired. The next thing they were just trying to look for a fault. The next thing they said that he had a shattered windshield, and it is an offense in Nigeria. And he said, gentlemen, I think I have been patient with you. You cannot tell me that I have a shattered windshield. There is no law that say that a Nigerian citizen cannot. This is not a shattered windshield. This is a cracked windshield. So there is a difference between a shattered windshield and a cracked windshield. And so they look at themselves and they said, are you a lawyer? He said, I don't need to be a lawyer. I'm a citizen of Nigeria. Of course they knew that he was a lawyer, and they said, carry your wahala and go. You know, can we continue like that? So it means that if he's someone that doesn't know what he is doing, they will want to. And when he told me, I quickly Googled the law. The law says shattered windshield. I was not even aware of it until when he was telling me, not a cracked windshield. Because a shattered windshield is not visible, but a cracked windshield is visible. So we manipulate things in order to persecute, not prosecute the citizens. So this is quite unfortunate, and we need to improve in that area.
Wow. Shattered windshield and cracked windshield. And I'm sure the commercial tricycle rider this morning will be so happy to have to hear this information from you, because many of them have run into one way, driving against traffic because they are trying to, dodge, the men of the officers working on our roads.
Yeah, but there's something I want to ask, Barrister. There is like we're having a conflict law, traffic law between the road safety and the VIO, because the VIO claims that they are the owners of driving license, you must have spare tire, you must have this. The same thing road safety is claiming. So it will be good for people to know exactly.
Yes, there is actually a conflict, but there was a court decision that tried to look at both the state laws and the federal laws and trying to balance it, and that's why you see now there is the road safety and the VIO are trying to come together to harmonize the licenses to certain extent, particularly those areas that are concurrently affecting both the state and the federal. For instance, now driving license, both the VIO and road safety have come together so that there will be no duplication in that area. But be that as it may, in that decision, the court clearly stated that the VIO are in charge of the state road, while the road safety are in charge of federal road. But now, if you have a driver license, definitely you will use that same driver license to apply both federal and state law. That's why they have to come together, do a lot of orientation, so that in terms of licensing, you don't need to go and do a license with federal government and come to state government and do a license. And you see what is causing some of this dispute is the revenue that is accruable in getting a license. So, but I think now there is harmony between the VIO and the rest of in terms of this driver's license. Yes, but at times you still see the VIO on federal roads, and at times you still see road safety on state road. So these are areas that needed to be corrected, and some of these personnel need orientation in terms of understanding.
And road users too. Road users need to know which road is a federal road and which is a state.
Because what we are looking at is that sometimes, like you just said, our laws are so docile.
Yes, yes.
Said that because it's no question of passing bills into law.
Yes.
It's for us to implement it.
Yes.
Last year, I traveled to Israel with some of our Nigerians. When we got to Turkey, they behaved well. You see Nigeria, I was surprised.
Yes.
From Turkey, we went to Israel. Beautiful. But when we came back to Nigeria, if they tell you that this is people that were in other countries a few days ago, you won't believe that. So we have a problem in this country. Because if things are done well, I think, like what you said in Ghana, even in Burkina Faso, even in Cotonou, even in Benin, Senegal, you see them behaving well. But in Nigeria, it's a different ballgame.
In Ghana, throughout my short stay in Ghana, you hardly see a car with either, in Nigeria, you hardly see a car without a paint of keke napep on the car because of how reckless they drive. So, but when you go to Ghana, you see their bomber neat,
very clean,
and then you see that whether there is traffic, they maintain certain distance in between two cars. So even if the car ahead of you apply an emergency brake, if you keep that distance, except if you are speeding, you will not bash that car from behind. So you can see that, when I went to Ghana, I was observing a lot of things, and and my spirit was lifted up because I believe that if Ghana is Africa, and West Africa for that matter, then there is hope for Africa. We can do better. We can do, and the same thing in Togo. You could see there is a distance they maintain. At times when you see the road, particularly if you are looking at the road from an elevated point, you will see the beauty. You will see as if the gap is measured. This is discipline.
So they're used to
yes, it's discipline. So I think we can inculcate this discipline.
Okay, I think let's just come back to this and we round up this segment with it. And Plateau State. Local government polls, there is no room for rigging, says Mutfwang. And this is taken from TG News. TG News says, what do we have to say?
Yeah, this local government is going to be very interesting.
Yes.
The last parley we had with PLASEC, they stated that about 9 political parties are vying for this election. I think, as far back as I can remember, this is one of the highest. And then why is it that the competition is increasing by the day? It's because of the reassurance that there is not going to be rigging. And that's why you can see a lot of people are picking interest, and then we are calling. It's not only about assuring people that there is not going to be rigging. Let the process of collation be transparent. Once results are announced at polling unit, and then polling unit agent receive duplicate copies or counterfeit copies of such results. If you like, you go and do whatever you want to do with the result at the top. From either your control room or whatever you call it, a political party can be able to do an assessment and know what they got. But in most cases, not only PLASEC, other state sects, they have been notorious in conducting terrible elections. That is why recently Nigerian citizens are calling for the abolition of state sec and allowing INEC to conduct the election. Just like we talked about VIO earlier, for me, I don't believe that VIO should be scrapped. Because just like we're agitating for state police, we have to have a federal regulatory road maintenance regulatory agency like the road safety, and then also have a state road regulatory agency like the VIO. I believe in true federalism, and I also believe in those who are calling for state police so that they will complement the insufficient manpower of other security forces. Even though there are so many arguments against and for, but this will be for another day. But be that as it may, I believe in having every other segment, just like we have the federal inland revenue, and we also have a state revenue board. So we are supposed to have a federal structure. I am among those people who are agitating that Nigeria should be a true federal state. So I don't subscribe that INEC should be conducting election. Even INEC, they have been rigging election too. So it's not as if INEC are perfect, but people are saying that INEC is a lesser devil comparable to the SEC. So we are challenging the SEC.
Okay, INEC were not seen to be 100% perfect.
Yes, INEC have been rigging election. There are a lot of court decisions. That is why today we have a plethora of off-season election. Recently, we have an off-season election in Edo. Even in Plateau State, we had a by-election recently because of INEC inadequacies. So be that as it may, we are agitating that instead of, I don't believe, I'm not in the school of thought that say if your head is aching, you chopped it off. I believe that if your head is aching, you treat it. So chopping it off does not make sense. So the same thing, you don't throw the baby with the bathwater.
All right.
So, but in Nigeria, we believe in throwing the baby with the bathwater. That's why people are saying we should scrap PLASEC and other state sake.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister and Honorable Felix Akonku, JP. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so on board as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It concerns you. It kill love, it kill dreams. It land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since.
Thank you. I'm so excited to say welcome back. This is Unity Trend on Unity 93.3 FM. This is the second segment. Without waste of time, we just launch into the business of this very segment. Don't forget, we are streaming live on Facebook at Unity Radio FM/TV Jaws, and the same you have for our WhatsApp channel too. And so please begin to just log in and then throw your comments. I'll read them just when the time comes. I remain Iji Adamu, but you can call me Kobe, and I will be just fine. And so on the second segment of Unity Trend this morning, being Friday, it promises to be very, very interesting. And so in the studio, it has been Barrister Paul Zaruma. And so I'll let him say another big good morning. And apart from that, I also have again in the studio Barrister Sam Tuggs. He's not a first timer. He might just be a long timer. And so I'll let him say a big good morning to our dear listener before I set the topic on.
Good morning, listener. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Unity FM. And good morning, Plateau State. All
right, lovely. Of course, you've been from the first segment of Unity Trend this morning. The voice of Barrister Paul Zaruma has been on, and so it won't be bad if Barrister, you too, would say another big good morning to our dear listener and viewer.
Yeah, so that we begin I will again. Start with my brother Sam Tuggs. It's nice having you again after a long time.
It's a pleasure.
The last time we met, we discussed a lot of things, even after the studio. And most of the things he predicted came to pass. Only one we missed narrowly, and we believe that by God's grace it will come to pass.
Amen.
You're welcome back all the way from Taraba State.
It's a pleasure.
All right, to my left and right, I have barristers. And so you see, today I'm so encouraged, okay? And again, still in the studio, but whose voice you might not be hearing is Engineer Covey Thanksin. He's right in the studio, and I just pray that time would permit so that he too would lend his voice. And today,
Engineer Kevin has been a wonderful person too.
Yes, you know, he's that one person who is bold enough to say some things that very few people would be able to say it on air. All right, let's talk about politics, gentlemen. You know, for us in Plateau State, this is the first time that we're going to be having an election after local government autonomy has been announced. So this is the first time, and that's probably has prompted the reason for which you see a lot of people showing interest, vying either as councillors or chairman and whatnot. And then we're having probably more political parties vying to be than we have ever had. Well, I don't know, but then I will get to hear from you. So the idea of having you in the studio this morning is because you are people on this platform. I'm a witness that you have been adding value to the society. And so there is no way we will not have you say something about this forthcoming local government election without you saying something to encourage electorates to be all out and vote. Well, that is left to you. Would you rather they vote because they are giving some stipends or because it's the person, their candidate of choice is credible? Let me start with Barrister Sam Tuggs, of course. So, concerning election.
Well, I would say it's a welcome development. Some of us have agitated over the years that free, fair, and credible elections should be conducted at the local government level. And it's a kudos to the president, and also not just specifically to the Supreme Court, not the president, even though it's the president that initiated this local government and autonomy through the Attorney General of the Federation. I would want to say that it's a welcome development, and it's really going to change the narrative.
Yes.
That's one of the beliefs I have, even though I have some observations and some doubts as to the credibility of the elections at the local government level, especially the one that is forthcoming on the plateau. I've said times without number, one of the innovations, one of the things that, yes, we've heard PLASEC make a lot of promises, what they intend to do, and we hope that the governor and also the person in charge of PLASEC will be able to put these things into reality, instead of just the normal promises they make. Personally, I've observed that recently one of my senior brothers sent me, I think they did a mock accreditation or something, and he sent me, they said they're going to use Android phones. And for me personally, I feel, what is the law backing the use of Android phones in verifying voters? I would say that that is a very gray area. Because after verifying them using an Android phone, they said people will use their Android phones. And we know how our terrain is on the plateau. There are a lot of villages, there are a lot of people who don't even have Android phones in the first place. And after verifying them using Android phones, what is the, is a process of accreditation. So now, after the accreditation, how do people access is it that they have a server? Or if they have a server, or they're going to delete the accreditation, or it's only restricted to my phone. These are some of the things that needs to be asked. But I would say that I pray, unlike the usual things we have that the governors manipulate and make declarations of local government elections, I hope this will be a different case, because the fact that things have been done terribly in the past doesn't mean that we continue on that path. If we continue on that path, it means that we are still not there yet as far as democracy is concerned.
You are already establishing or confirming the fact that there is room for improvement.
Very well, there's room for improvement. And I would say that the voters, despite all this negative energy and politicking, it is important for the electorates to come and vote. I have seen that the electoral process has shifted. In the past, people just thumbprint ballot papers and results. Even before the conclusion of elections, results are announced. But this time around, you cannot just go ahead and do such things, because people will protest against some of these things. So I hope to see, and some of us hope to see, a free, fair, and credible elections.
Yes, still working on having a free, fair, and credible elections in Plateau State. Barrister has been in Jos, and I'm sure he must have been very, back to back following the process of these forthcoming elections. And so, what would you say about the process?
Yes, we say that. In the history of PLASEC, they have never conducted a free, fair, and transparent election. And we are challenging Shishak and his team to do better. And we are also calling upon the executive not to interfere. Because what usually causes lack of transparency in the process is executive interference. Excuse me. And His Excellency Governor Mutfan has reassured Plateau citizens that he is not going to interfere with the election. Now, you cannot keep on doing something differently and expect a different result. So the same way and expect a different result. PLASEC, under the leadership of Shishak and his team, they have proven that they are doing things differently. I want to highlight some of the things they are doing. But before then, if you will recall, before President Tinubu announced the autonomy granted to local government in Nigeria, about 27 local states in Nigeria were operating an illegal caretaker committee. But immediately after the announcement of the autonomy and the deadline the president gave them, many states started conducting elections. You can see what is happening in Rivers, what happened in our neighboring Bauchi state, and so many states now, Kaduna state too. So many states. Now the number is drastically reducing. As at now, I don't know how many states have already conducted their election. But most of the states want to conduct their election from now to November. I believe we will not have any caretaker committee in the country, which will be very good for our democracy.
You think even for this announcement?
Yes, it is for this announcement because he gave them deadline and said that he's not going to release local government fund to caretaker committees except elected local government. And that is what spurred most of the states to be conducting local government election. I think as long as I am concerned, Tinubu is a Democrat, and this is one of his achievements because he's going to bring progress and development to the grassroots. The local government is the tier of government that is closest to the masses. So be that as it may, coming back to the local government, the activities that are greeting the local government election, you can see that PLASEC have done fantastically well. They have done ahead of, in terms of comparison to previous activities of PLASEC. So PLASEC have, under Shishak have done significantly well. And I think that's why you see a lot of people are, a lot of political parties are registering. This is the first time that, if I'm not mistaken, if my record serves me right, that we're having 9 political parties contesting for this election. You know, only that, and again, there is another development, particularly in Jos North, that happens to be the capital of Plateau State. There is no usual tension that usually precedes the election. So there is no religious tension, there is no ethnic tension, there is no whatsoever tension you can see. If you look at the activities of both political parties, you will realize that, you know, there is no division. You know, there is this kind of assimilation that is going on. For instance, the PDP candidate carried you know, a Muslim as his vice. If you also look at the APC candidate, he carried a Christian as his vice. If you also look at the SDP candidate, he also carried a female Christian as his vice. If you look at it, so if you know that religious tension is no longer there. You know, and then again, you will not see them carrying daggers, cutlasses, go to hell, and all sorts of things. We don't see that. Unlike in the past, you will see people with a bamboo stick, dagger going on campaign. You can see most of the campaign rallies I have witnessed so far, you only see people with face cap, t-shirt, and playing music, dancing. Unlike before, the campaign used to be very tense, and so there are a lot of improvement. And again, it appears the political class are also believing, they believe PLASEC. That's why you can see the upsurge in terms of registration, and the competition is going to be very, very interesting. Now, let me just highlight some points. It will enable my brother Sam Talk to come in with, you know, because Sam Talks have a wide range of experience in terms of election management.
Okay, I see.
So by the time I lay some of this background, I know Sam Talks will come up with some of his beautiful view. You know, so far we have our 75 candidates that are running for the chairmanship position in the 17 LGS across different political parties. We have 16 female vying for the deputy chairman, which is a very significant improvement. This number is quite encouraging. We also have 2 female candidates, Mikan and Basa LGA, vying for the position of chairmanship. This is another significant. We have had situation where no single female was contesting for that election, but we have 2. I think the female should brace up and do more, but at least this is a significant divergence from the tradition, you know. So we also have 38 of the chairmanship candidates, and now we are now looking at the qualification of those people who are contesting for this chairmanship. 38 of them, of the chairmanship candidate, hold SSCE. I think that is not good at all. For you to have in the 21st century, to have 38 people with only SSCE as their highest qualification, vying for a chairmanship in 21st century, I think that is not too good.
We talk about capacity.
Yes, if you are talking about capacity, you know, the sharper the weapon, the more effective it is. When you sharpen your knife, it becomes more effective. So
education is there.
So when you have your capacity, then you lace it up with education. I think you give better input.
Anyway,
we are not trying to downgrade those who are not privileged to go to school, because as long as this part of the country is concerned, going to school is a privilege. Some of them is not their fault that they did not go to school. But we have had situations where some people will sign a contract that they don't even know the terms that is in that contract. contract. Being a local government chairman involves a lot of signing a lot of technical things, and then if you are not aware, you know, particularly if you are relying on your aid, someone can go and compromise your aid, and they will push you into signing something that you will come and regret later.
All right.
So that is why education is very, very significant. Okay, so I think we political parties should do more in fronting those who have education qualification in terms of contesting election. At least for councillorship, it can be managed. But, you know, because councillorship doesn't really, they are not really exposed to signing a lot of sensitive things, unlike the local government chairman. So that is that about that. Then we have 22 candidates that are holders of BSc or HND, which is also a very good one, you know, improvement comparable to what has been happening in the past. Then we have also 13 candidates hold MSc or PhD, which is also very important. Unlike what it used to be, at times it's very difficult to find somebody who have a PhD vying for chairmanship. Okay. You know, that's another beautiful thing that the autonomy has added to it. We say that once local government is given autonomy, you will see professors vying to become local government chairman. And you can see it has started happening. Very soon we are going to get there. So one vice chairman candidate holds a PhD, while his flag bearer chairmanship candidate holds a Bachelor of Law. That is just East in LGA. So these are some of the details that we have from the local government this thing. Then we also have 817 candidates across political parties that are contesting for the position of councillorship in the 324 state wards. So you know, you can see the list is on and on and on. Okay. So these are some of the updates concerning the election, and we are calling upon PLASEC have exhibited a lot of integrity in terms of sticking to their words, and then obeying their own guideline. What I usually rate if an election is going to be fair and fair is if the umpire is sticking to her guideline. And then PLASEC, frankly, under Shishak, are sticking to their guideline, and they are doing wonderfully well in terms of, they have been keeping to the guideline, except with the curfew that was imposed in the state that affected almost every activity, that made PLASEC to adjust their guideline, but they have religiously been sticking to their guideline. We give them kudos. We accept that they will do it from now to the day of the election.
All right, Barrister Sam talks already. Barrister Paul has made it clear that you would have a lot to say responding to the details and some of the things he has said. So what will be your response?
Yes, very importantly, he has stated that the timetable is sacrosanct. Because if you don't follow the timetable, then it means the election will be marred with all forms of irregularities. So just like he had rightly stated, we have seen a different shift from the usual not giving it a good publicity, where people will know what is expected from stage one to the last stage of the elections. I would say I've also seen that the election petition tribunal has been set by the CJ of the state. That's also a good development, even though I have had my reservation personally in terms of litigation when it comes to local government elections, because both the appeal, the tribunal and the appeal is within the same high court. In rare circumstances where you find that people who actually need that justice at the end of the day, because we call election petitions as sui generis, is a special kind of court. But since if it doesn't go to Court of Appeal, it doesn't go to Supreme Court, I have my reservation personally. It's my personal opinion. But I would say that why you see these innovations coming from the Plan Kishak as the leader of the team of PLASEC is because he has worked with the Independent National Electoral Commission before moving to the state electoral body. So I will say that he has an understanding of the election management body generally. So that has transcended into, just like Barrister Zoruma said, I pray that the government of the day does not interfere. And one of the things that I've raised severally on different platforms is that you cannot change the rules of the game at the middle of the game. I have a reservation because I think recently the laws was changed. If you say you can't declare results at the polling units, then where do you declare results? That is questionable. So these are some of the things from what he has said and from the timetable, and some of the things. One of the things that I also wanted to see is that people with disabilities, whether how many are participating in these forthcoming elections, but I will say that there are a lot of red flags. In as much as there are good innovations, there are a lot of red flags. I have a red flag. My red flag will start from the issue of verifying voters, the electronic technology that is to be employed in verifying voters. Then basically the rules of the game, whether the laws were amended to favor, and some of the pronouncements by some people in government making pronouncements. Even we have seen videos circulating where you say that those who are contesting in other political parties should not even dare, should not waste their resources. You know, when you begin to make such statements, it means that the process has already been marred by irregularities. So these are some of our opinions.
Well, away from the regulatory body, electoral body in Plateau State, let's look at what do you have for the electorate themselves, because it's very important. Though you have started that already, no matter what it is, you started saying that electorate should mobilize, should make sure that they... So what is, again, will be your take? I mean,
yes, is very good question, Kubi. I would say that the electorate should look at it as an opportunity to change the narrative. In the past years, elections has not been like this. People don't usually even go out to vote at all, because whether they vote or they don't vote, the electoral body decides whatever, or those people at the field decide whatever. But now it has changed. The law, especially the Electoral Act 2022, has brought a lot of innovations where the voter can be able to assert his mandate by voting the candidate of his choice. I want to say, especially at the polling units, I want to make a very candid appeal to the electorates that they should remain peaceful, but make sure if they bring electoral materials, ensure that electoral materials are verified. And social media has been a very strong tool in the electoral process. I'd want to say that people should go to the polling units with their phones and make videos of materials that is being brought to the polling units, and also post where they feel that there are irregularities, because I've seen in election petitions recently, especially the by-elections that was just conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission in March. One of the evidence that was brought before the court was the video evidence where a returning officer clearly stated that her life was threatened. The court has to, the tribunal had to x-ray the credibility of that evidence. So you see, it can be admissible once you use those your Android phones, not just for Facebooking and all other social platforms, media platforms, but make sure that you record proceedings from the beginning of the elections to the end of the elections. It will show the world whether PLASEC has kept to their words or not. So that's a candid advice to the electorate.
But is that allowed? So it's a big question. Is it allowed to actually boldly, just...
I might not be able to say whether it is allowed by their rules or by their laws. But I think, just like I heard you talking this morning on the Freedom of Information Act, it is important. In advanced crimes, people have even policemen and other people have cameras on their bodies. Some of us have advocated that. If they are forced to put it, it would have solved a lot of problems where you have citizens being harassed. I would say the community should have a mechanism. I mean, from the community level. Even if they are not going to, if the law says they shouldn't record, what law will actually say I should not record a proceeding that is, if I come to vote, except it is an open secret ballot. But I should be able to have my phone and record what is happening there, except otherwise. But if the law does not permit, the communities, I want to suggest that the communities should be able to have a mechanism where they will protect their votes and ensure that there is no violence, and also ensure that they have a form of recorder. That is my own, either it's audio or video. It is my opinion.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Sam Talks. And it's time already for us to go on a short break. Barrister, you have just a word, please.
Yeah, I think I align myself with most of the points he is making. The beautiful thing about law is that even if, for instance, even if the law forbids it, if you're able to record it, it will be admitted. It doesn't matter how you get the evidence. Even if you get the evidence in a criminal way, it will be admitted. Yes. So, but be that as it may, frankly, if you look at the freedom of information law, they are allowed to record the process, but they are not allowed to snap what you voted, because it is an open secret ballot. So you are not allowed to snap what you voted in order to show somebody maybe in the process of vote buying. Yes, but the process. But in most cases, overzealous security men will not allow you. Once they see you with camera, they will harass you. So if you was video there, you have to use wisdom.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Sam Talks and Barrister Paul Zaruma. This is the much we can take on this segment. We'll be coming back after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Unity. Unity TV.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It dey land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here.
Thank you. Lovely. I'm so glad to say welcome back. Today is Friday, and thank God it is. God owns this day, and He has given it to you. And I tell you, it's a good day. All right? It doesn't matter what you're passing through. I know that God in His grace and mercy, He has been God and will always be God. And so He's looking into your matter and forgiving you this day. I'm sure this day is packed full of whatever it takes for you to succeed in this life. And so say it to your listening, and that it's a good day, and that it will be. Thank you. This is Unity 20, Unity 93.3 FM. Mijia Domuri is my name, your regular anchor, and this is the last segment this morning, Friday, the 4th day in the month of October, the year 2024. Before we put on the studio line, we have two guests in the studio, and we'll see what we'll do within this time. Let's begin with Engineer Kelvin Pangsing. He's in the studio. He's not a first-timer. He's a friend of the studio. So I'll let him say good morning to our listener and viewer.
Good morning, our listeners. Good morning, Unity FM. Good morning, Plateau. Happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Because I was not here.
Yes.
Doing areas, but yes.
All right.
There's nothing wrong about that.
Yes, Engineer Kelvin, you are right. Since we had the first day of the month being Independence Day for us, you've not been with us on this platform, and so you are right to say Happy Independence Day.
It's another thing to know whether we're actually independent.
Okay, that will be a discussion for another day, and I hope I will remember to invite you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, still in the studio, we've been joined by Honorable, a wonderful young man. He's looking good already. He's looking cheerful. He's looking ready to lead the wonderful people of Apata Ward. Honorable Matthew Chizoba, he's vying as a councillor under Labour Party. And he will be saying a big good morning to Plateau and Nigerians. Honorable Chizoba?
Yes.
You may say good morning to our listener and viewer.
Yes, good morning to the listeners and viewers all over Plateau State. I want to say a big shout out to you, and I want to say may God bless every one of us in Jesus' name.
Amen. All right, Honorable, before I let Engineer Kelvin say one or two things, let's just begin with you. Let's get to know the reason for which you're visiting us is very, very important to my listener right now. So let's hear your vying, you wanting to be the councillor to take charge of Apata as a ward. So now, what is your desire? What is your, let me just put it, what's your manifesto? So what is it, what plans do you have to bring about developments and, you know, the welfare of Apata people?
Okay. Just as you have said, before I will proceed, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Honorable Matthew Chizoba. I'm aspiring for Councillor Gent Apata Ward under the umbrella of Labour Party. I'm aspiring this for the interest of the people and for the betterment of Gent Apata community. And also, I know that I'm an educationist, I'm also a businessman. So I have a good strategy on how to make Gent Apata Ward to be a better one.
Okay. Yes. All right. So can you tell us how much you know about Gent Apata?
Okay, I think I've been in Apata.
Some of their needs, some of their challenges that you, of course, would love to relieve them of.
Okay, I think I've been in Apata for more than 20 years.
Oh, I see.
I can say that I know most of their challenges and most of their problems, which are they normally incur. So I believe, like I know they have road challenges which the government of the day have, tried to improve. And I think what I believe I can do is to make sure at least to empower youth and also the women of the community, and also make sure that healthcare are being fixed. Also try to make sure that most importantly Apata needs security. We have a lot of security challenges, which I'm going to make sure that all these are well equipped in Jenta Apata Ward.
Honorable Chizoba, for you to mention the issue of security, security challenges in Apata, that gives me the understanding that you are very familiar of this area.
Yes.
And it's lovely to know that someone who is vying for such a position is already aware that there are these challenges so far. So also mention the issue of primary health care in Apata, and also schools. I know you have quite a number of schools there already, but then you mentioned the issue of empowering women. Why women specifically? I know people say when you educate a woman, it's like you're educating a whole nation.
Yes.
So now, do you want to emphasize on why you choose to mention women and youth?
The reason why I said women and youth specifically is not like I'm not going to empower everybody, but I think the best way to penetrate in a community is to use women and youth, and I believe that when you empower youth and women, you have empowered all.
Oh, that is lovely. I'll let you rest, Honorable, and I'll go back to having to hear from Engineer Kelvin. And yours, Engineer Kelvin, would be to encourage voters, that's the electorate. The election is just by the corner for us here, and it's one important thing that we have as a people in Plateau State. So just an encouragement, a call to electorate to be all out and make sure that they vote.
Well, that's the beauty of democracy. Democracy calls for all-inclusive participation, and people should come out and vote. Though they have their reservation, we just left the military regime 25 years ago, and we still have that military mentality in us because we are used to being autocratic. Yes, and over time again, since the advent of democracy, the electoral process has not been pleasant, not satisfactory, and people have a lot of reservation about that, and I think that is what is responsible for people not coming out to vote, or let me say that's what's leading to voter apathy. But even as that, I still want to encourage people to come out to vote, because if you don't participate in it, you may not know the exact thing that is happening. Yes. And life generally, you keep improving. Yes, we keep improving. I can cite some certain examples in this country. Between the 1999 to 2007, I remember when our former governor, distinguished Senator Joshua Chibidari, he was removed because there was a state of emergency on the plateau by the president, and I think Section 203 or so of the Constitution was invoked, but that was it was wrongly applied, and it was his seat was declared vacant. But after some legal battle, it was overturned that decision was wrong.
Okay.
You get it.
Right.
So that is the evolving. Today nobody can do that again. I'm giving the example for people to understand.
Yes.
Today nobody can do that again. And there are certain things again that have happened, but I just use the one that is closer to us since we're here on the plateau, so that people can understand the example very well. So things will keep changing. we then expect spontaneous change overnight. Life is like that generally. So, but I will encourage people to keep coming out. But the leadership must give people the confidence to believe in them.
Okay.
Because it's all about confidence building. When people don't have confidence in the electoral process, definitely they will not come out to vote.
Well, what PLATEAU has been doing, don't you think it's enough for electorate to be, have confidence?
For me, I think we've never had it this way. Yes, I had the last speakers before they left. Yes, the other side of the PLATEAU that they felt they've done well. But you know when it is process. Yes, I'm an engineer by training. Yes, when you get the turbine, you put your poles, you put your maybe transformer. If you don't drop the light, there's no light.
All right.
If you don't drop light, so if one process is breached,
it can affect the rest.
Yes. If one process is breached, you understand. So electoral process, that's why it's a system. So once something is a system, then the individual components that make up the system, all of them need to be up and doing for the whole system to work.
All right.
You understand? Just like a human being. If you don't have kidney, even if you have the most healthiest heart, you're gone. If you have the most healthiest liver, but you don't have heart, you're gone. Because they work together.
All right.
And it's the same thing with the electoral process. Because as we speak now, let me tell you, many people are in the dark. They don't even know whether these guys are going to serve for 2 years or 3 years. That is questionable. Midway, you understand? They now brought another supplementary budget to conduct election midway. You understand? This is just local government election midway. So these are, and funding is key. Once funding is compromised, then virtually everything will be compromised.
All right. So
that one is there. So, but even at that, I want to advise people, encourage people, urge people, come out and vote. So that at the end of the day, in your polling unit, you'll be able to know the kind of person you have as a leader. If you come out in mass and vote, and at the end of the day, the election is rigged, then you can authoritatively say, I was there, I voted, this party won, yet the election was rigged. And as at that time, who was the governor, who was the PLATEAU chairman, because he appointed them. In this country, the state electoral bodies are not independent. It is just by name. But maybe principle, but in practice, they are not. And I say they are not.
That's an opinion.
Yes, it's my opinion. Yeah,
yes, of course it is. But then let's go back to Honorable. By now, I'm sure you must have, relaxed a bit and rested from those questions. So now, let's just know. I mean, I'm very, quick to want to know, why would you want to, your businessman, educationist, and here you want to be a representative of the people, a councillor. So what really thrilled you? What really make you want to be, vying for this office?
Okay, thank you so much for this wonderful question. Just like as I said, I am an educationist. I'm a businessman. I have so many people giving scholarship under my control, and I know how many people have been helping in the community, and I believe with the way the community have chosen me to represent them, that through them I want to run the race through them, and through them we are going to achieve what we want in the Tafe community. And also, if you watch, like when you asked me about manifesto, I told you about healthcare. Some of these challenges, like Apata, when we talk about security, we need street light. We need street light because that is the number one basic factor of this security. And also we need things like fertilizer for our indigenous brothers, because I want to bring this inclusiveness, and I want every tribe to be carried along. Whether you are indigenous, you are our Muslims brothers, We want everybody to be carried along. And we want to bring this symbiotic relationship between the Christian and the Muslims, also to make them to understand what religion is all about, and also educate them, make them to know how to respect each other's religion, and bring that relationship that we exist among them for peaceful coexistence that will exist in the community.
I am impressed with the fact that you mentioned peaceful coexistence. Let's have religious tolerance is what you're mentioning, and I'm quite impressed with that. It's good to know that someone like you is already thinking. That it means that you have seen the experiences we've had in the past for us in Jos, in Plateau State. So it's good that you are already thinking on how possible you could help in ensuring sustainable, peaceful coexistence. Now, still with you, Honorable, what is that one thing, what's your call? What's your call to electorate? I'm sure you're here because you want people to hear what you have in stock for them, what you plan, what you intend to do for them. All right, so what's your call to electorate? Election is coming.
Okay. What's my call? I believed my call is to be a humanitarian to the community and also to serve the people, because I believe that leadership is not about leading, but making the people that you are serving to lead through them, to make them to, you know, to feel that they belong to the community. And the election, just like as you asked, just like the way this governor, our governor of the state, as His Excellency Mutfang, he's a peaceful man, and he's somebody that have been practicing a democratic system of government, because he gave assurance that whichever party that will win this election, that they are going to give them the mandate.
Okay.
And he promised us free and fair election also.
Yes. Before we go, please, what have you to say about propagandas? Because, of course, character assassination has been there, propaganda, just positive things there. So, have you anything to say before we pick one or two calls?
Okay. Just as propaganda is natural in politics, which is a normal thing, which for me, I don't believe in propaganda, because if you know your pedigree, I don't think you have anything against your opposition to say something to get a positive image. I have lived in Jenta community. I have built image for myself, and I believe with the utterance of our dear governor, and I believe also in working with him. And I believe if there will be a free and fair, just as he promised, that by God's grace, I'm going to win the election.
Oh, that's lovely. All right, very quickly, dear listener and viewer, to our Facebook page, we have Muri Azi, Izai saying Good Morning Unity FM, TV, the Anchor could be, and Barrister Paul Zaruma. Zaruma, I appreciate your educative analysis and solutions. My suggestions is to become clear about our own goals for change. And we need to reflect on the ways in which we have observed the norms and roles of the larger society in which we live in. And Haji, okay, Baba, Wade say hi in voice, and Jibrin Dawai Zalo say good morning, Kubi, and Barrister Paul Saruma, and scientist Prof. Bameyi, and others guests in the house. I'm very happy to see you live in Zalo. Okay, this one is Sadiq. Okay, Ishak Nas say good morning, Kubi, and the barrister and the guests in the studio. Keep up the good work as the local government elections draw closer. We hope to see elections free and of rancor and violence. Credible elections remains blessed. And Asobogon Francis, good morning, gentlemen in the studio. Upcoming local government elections in the state. I'm not comfortable with the use of Android phone for verifications of voters, the reductions of of 3 years of the tenure of chairmen and councillors from 3 years to 2 years, meaning there may be no delivery of anything called dividends of democracy at the local government. Again, if our years is not enough for the governors, there will be no magic for 2 years to anything tangible for the masses. And thank you. I think that's how much we'll be able to take on our Facebook page. Let me see if I will be able to read a few comments, text messages here before we say bye-bye. This one is saying, good morning, Kubi, to the two barristers and the guest when applying the roads. The VIOs, the police, and the road safety are on the road requesting for your license papers and cross-examined your vehicles. Who is in the right position to do this? Why can't one agency be concerned with this? Okay, we all know the problem of our country, Nigeria. That's why we can't get things right. Nigeria is only good at borrowing and looting. Amy Longs from Agenge. Thank you, Amy Longs from Agenge. Another text message. Good morning, Mr. Kobe. Good morning to the two barristers and the Honorable Felix with Engineer Calvin. This is a lovely and educative analysis to the people. Please vote peacefully and don't fight. Your vote is your right. Thank you at Ismail Isa Aishan. Thank you. Another text message. Bulus Uhoman Esther in Farangeda. Good morning, Kobe, the professor and the barrister, the guest in the studio. May Allah reward you both for the great work you are doing out there. Happy Jamaat Mubarak to our Muslim brothers, the faithfuls out there, and happy Sunday in advance. Thank you. Okay, another one. Today we may say good morning, Mr. Kobe, Prof. Barrister Zaruma, and the guest. To be in a state of tranquility and live together in peace, then justice must always prevail, and there are no how peace will reign if we do not love and forgive one another. May there be peace in our land. Let's remember Plateau State is home of peace and tourism. Let's vote wisely. God bless Nigeria. Adelmi from Bauchi Ring Road. Okay, maybe lastly, good morning. Kudos to one magistrate, woman, and in the Central Court, C Divisions, Umar Ali from Gangare, the former acting ward head, Gangare. Okay, I think that's the much. And this one is coming from CBBZ, okay, BS, Honorable and Engineer Sule. God will fully compensate you for your deeds. One of the right is one who awakes in the mornings with no intentions to wrong anyone. The message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do you love paradise? I said yes. The Prophet said, then love for your brother what you love yourself. Wish you a peaceful elections. Vote wisely. Hassan Garba. Thank you. Honorable, let's have a word from you before we say bye-bye. So what would be your take, your call, even parting words? Sorry. So what's your parting word? Because we are rounding up now, Honorable.
Okay, I just want to encourage people out there, our viewers, to make sure they comes October 9 to vote the right candidate. They should not, regardless of tribe, religion, party, they should come out and do the needful so that it will be useful. And when something is needful, when something is useful, it brings fruit. And we are hoping free and fair election. And as we do that, may God bless us all in Jesus' name. Amen.
I say amen to that, Honorable Matthew Chizoba. I can see how confident you are. You've not even emphasized your political party. All right. Well, you're from which political party? Let's hear it from you.
Okay, I'm from Labour Party.
All right.
Mama Papa Pikin.
Mama Papa Pikin.
Yes.
All right. I must confess that I love it that you have chosen to want to speak to people concerning your aspirations and what you have in stock for them, what you desire to to do for them, and what you desire to, bring them, do to better the state of Gentile Pata as a word. So, Engineer Kevin, so what will be your parting words? Time is not on our side.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think we want to appreciate the listeners and those who are sending their contributions. We equally learn from them, so we appreciate them.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, they're equally schooling us, so we really appreciate their contribution. If they are not listening, we can't be talking here.
Yes,
exactly. And if they are not communicating, we'll not be happy.
Exactly.
And we'll leave this place unsatisfied. We appreciate Unity FM, and the voters, I would say, emphasize that it's important go out there and vote on the 9th of October. Yes, I know people have their skepticism, which is normal. Yes, the plastic, yes, in their process, they've created that space that will create fears in the mind of few people. It's natural, but I want them to, because courage is not when there's no fear. Yes, courage is when there is fear, and yet you dare it.
Right.
So I want them to dare it. Come out to vote. Let your votes count, even if they rig. Because if your
play
vote,
your part. Just play
there
your part.
must be, the vote must count before rigging will take place.
Okay, yeah, so whatever.
Yes.
The vote must count.
Yes.
It must count before.
Yeah, there must be
That is
rigging.
if there will
so
be
when
any
people
rigging.
say yes, when people say their vote, it counts. Because it counts, that's why they rig.
All right.
You understand? If they allow it go, you would have gotten your day. But since your vote counts, that's why they rig. The power of the thumb and the power of the ballot is more than the power of the barrel.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Kelvin, and thank you so much, Honorable Matthew Chizoba, a candidate, okay, vying for councillorship, okay, Agenta Pata Award. Thank you so much. It's good to have you. Dear listener and viewer, that's the much we can take. We truly apologize. We've not given you all of the time. We apologize. On Monday, we'll be here. Do have yourself a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?